Hi, welcome back to my channel, Miranda's Tarot. Today I'm going to do an unboxing of the Primitive Lenormand. Uh, I got this deck, I bought it with my own money from the Vermilion collection, and I do tend to have a lot of decks from the Vermilion collection. For whatever reason, I am drawn to them. I just think it's a thing for me. But I wanted to do a short unboxing of this Lenormand. So Lenormand is a divination style. It's read quite literally. I do love to read Lenormand with tarot. But with this package, the Vermilion collection, they sent me with the package a bunch of cards from other decks that they have. So we'll take a look at those. I thought that was really cute. The backs on these are so cute. And here's another one to kind of like showcase some of their other decks they have. I like the backs on those. That's beautiful. This one looks like the other one except for the standard size, the Ace of Cups. We got the Three of Wands. I actually really like this one. It's the Four of Wands. And okay, I have seen this one before. It's the Valley of the Lambs. That is so cute. So I'll set those aside. Those were just some things that came with the package. And again, I did purchase this myself. So if you do order it, most likely you will get a sampling of different cards that they have from different decks. And again, before I go any further, please like if you like this, subscribe so you catch my readings or catch more unboxings. I do love to collect decks. I collect tarot, and also Lenormand is normally my oracle of choice. So I have taken the plastic off this, but I have not actually gone through this. So let's go ahead and open this up. Well, I guess we can take a look at the box. So there's no thumb holds on here, which is fine. It says it's 42 cards. So that would mean, because the standard Lenormand is 36 cards, so there is extra cards in this deck. So there's no thumb holds, but this comes off pretty easy. It is a very sturdy box, plain inside. So this is the little guidebook. Oh, it is tiny, but let's see. Okay, it's got the meanings of the extra cards. It indicates whether the card is positive, negative, or neutral, which is good. And let's see. It gives each of the meanings. Again, Lenormand is read quite literally. So if you were to pull the tree, depending on how you're putting the sentence together, the tree could be a noun, verb, or adjective. So we'll take a look at that in just a minute, but let's go ahead and look at the cards. So I got the butterfly edition, which I actually thought was just beautiful. The cards themselves, they're a pretty decent size. To me, this feels like they're playing card size. So it's actually a really good size for a Lenormand deck. And it's kind of like a linen finish. I mean, honestly, to me, they feel like playing cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. Let me see if I can get this situated here so it's easier to see. I'll just do it like this. I'll raise the card up. So we have the Rider. And I was drawn to this deck because, look, it's the Rider, but if you look at the images, it also talks about the different meanings of the cards. So not only is it just the Rider, but it's talking about messages, it's talking about information, it's talking about movement, receiving something. So I was drawn to this deck. Oh yes, and these are the beautiful backs. So I was drawn to this deck because it's not just a picture of a clover. It is a clover. It says good luck. You see how things are turning here. It could turn in your favor. I love the little excitement. I mean, like, this deck to me was just a no-brainer. I mean, honestly, I believe this butterfly one, quite affordable. It was 30 US dollars. So definitely affordable. The shipping was extremely fast as well. I believe I ordered it on a Thursday night or maybe a Friday, and I received it on Monday. So that was amazing. But we have the ship. So you can see it talks about travel, talks about adventure. Let's see, it says traveling. Oh, goodness, my cat is going crazy. Kitty. We have home. And I do love that it has the pips down here. Some Lenormand decks I have come across, they leave the pips off, but the pips are actually important for Lenormand. So I do prefer it when they leave those on there. But this is home. The tree. I love this. So the tree does talk about like your roots. It does talk about healing. It talks about past connections. The clouds. So the clouds talks about confusion or doubts. It talks about obscurity, things not being very clear. The snake. Snake talks about deception, things of that nature. I mean, again, you read these quite literally. The coffin. Sorry, guys, my cat is just going nuts. You got the coffin. I love how the coffin has, it's chained up. So some of the coffin does talk about repression. So it does kind of feel like, you know, being stuck in something can cause a lot of grief. You got the bouquet. So I love this. Again, the bouquet does talk about gifts that are received, things of that nature. So I do love that. Gifts, beauty, something sweet. And we have the scythe. So it explains something being cut off, a warning. This is a card that, you know, kind of happens quite swiftly as well. Normally what's being cut off is whatever the scythe is pointing to. So in this case, we have two. So you could leave it up to your interpretation on what's actually being removed. We have the whip. I love this because the whip does talk about discussions or debates. It's kind of like tough conversations, but it's not necessarily like an argument, but it is like a debate. It's a tough conversation. The birds talks about chatter, talks about gossip, talks about excitement, but also nervousness. The child, I love this. So the child's actually about new beginnings. It's also about innocence, can be about immaturity. You know, again, when you read the cards, it's up to your interpretation. This card is amazing. So the fox talks about being clever, but it also talks about someone who has a strategy. So I love how this fox has a little mask on. So I feel like that's great. And animals in most cases in Lenormand do relate to like finances or work. So this really does talk about being clever or having a strategy towards abundance, work, things of that nature. So I love that. Again, here's the bear. You see the gold up there. But the bear does talk about strength of character. It can talk about a boss. So I love this. I do love the imagery on this so much. You got the stars. So I love this because the stars in Lenormand is more about progress towards your goals. It does talk about hopes, dreams, things of that nature, but it's really about forward movement and progress. You got the stork. So the stork is probably the most recognizable symbol in the Lenormand because we have all seen in our life the stork delivering a child, but this is really about deliveries. It's about change. It's about movement. So I love this depiction of the stork because, again, you can see that there's a lot of different meanings in the imagery because Lenormand does have different meanings for each card. It's up to you to interpret what that meaning is by basically each card that is around it. So we have the dog. So this talks about loyalty, devotion, sometimes obedience, talks about a friend, a follower. So I love this. This is very sweet. Then we have the Tower. So the Tower is basically about establishment. It can be a building. It can be the ego. All of those lovely things. We have the Garden. Love this. So the Garden is about networking. It's about get-togethers. It's about events, social events, things of that nature. So I love this because it does look like they're out there having a picnic. You got the Mountain. So this depicts obstacles, kind of like blockages in a way. It does kind of feel like, look, you can get over these obstacles. It might be a struggle, but there's something to overcome here. Then we have the Crossroads, which is traditionally a choice. It can mean separation. See how this person's leaving this other person behind? We have choice up here. So it's really about options. You have a choice. You do have a choice, options, to separate, go in the same direction. So it's all about being at that crossroads. We have Mice. So I love this. Shows stress. The Mice does talk about, you know, a flaw in something. It can talk about illness. It talks about stress. It talks about depletion of something or decay of something, which in some cases, the Mice reminds me kind of like the Five of Pentacles energy in the tarot. So we have the Heart. So the Heart in this deck is literally all matters of the heart. Love, forgiveness. It's about feelings being amicable. So it's all matters of the heart. And again, you know, it's just like, look, if you were to pull these two cards together, you might say that there's a slow depletion of feelings, you know, so it just depends on how you pull them, but they are read quite literally. So we have the Ring. So the Ring can mean a commitment, but it also means a cycle. I love this. I love how it says continuation, a cycle, a commitment, a promise, all of those things. So I love that. Then we have the Book. I love how there's the imagery on the book. So the book talks about knowledge, but you see how this person's face is blocked? So it does talk about knowledge, but it also talks about secrets and things that are hidden. Unknown knowledge, things that need to be learned. And then we have the Letter. The letter is pretty straightforward, but it is communication. It's information. It is all the things that you would think a letter is. It could be receiving a message. It could be you giving a message to someone. And then it looks like we have two cards. You can choose which one, but this would be the Man. So they have two different cards for that. So if you were reading for someone and they have a significant other in their life, if you were to pull this card, this would represent that person in their life, or it would represent them. And same thing with the woman or the lady, gentleman, you know, things of that nature. Gentleman, lady, man, woman, however you want to view it. I do kind of like that, even, I suppose, in the sense of being inclusive. If you wanted to, even though these are numbered the same, you could use two males, you could use two females. I mean, honestly, just depends. Or you can just leave them all in, you know. But there's two different ones for the woman. I love this. I actually, gosh, it's hard to decide. I kind of like this one. I don't know, I'll have to go through it. So we have the Lilies. So I love this. This talks about, the Lilies talk about career, but it also talks about your morals, values, and it also talks about sensuality. You have the Sun. So the Sun talks about all things that you would think of. Optimism, success, happiness. I love this imagery so much. So we have the Moon. I love this. The Moon does talk about, the Moon in this deck kind of talks about your emotions, but it talks more about dreams and the subconscious and things of that nature. It can speak of fear, though. It depends on what card you pull next to it. We have the key. So the key talks about being open, unlocking something. It can talk about liberating yourself from something. So basically, the solution is to unlock the door and actually go through it. You have the fish. So the fish talks about gains, prosperity, abundance. You know, basically, if you learn how to fish, you will be able to eat every day versus if someone hands you a fish. So fish are all about prosperity and abundance. And then you have the anchor. So this can talk about stability or strong foundations, but it can also talk about resistance to something. Again, just depends on which card you pull next to it. And then we have the cross, and the cross is everything that you could think it might be. It talks about suffering. It talks about duty. It talks about principles, all of those things. So, and normally with Lenormand, it stops at 36. So these are all the additional cards. So we have Spirit, which again, if you can see from the imagery, you could do your own interpretation of this, or let's check and see what the book has. Okay, I opened it right up. We have the cross and then we have the Spirit. So it is saying in regards to Spirit, this is a neutral feeling card. It says the Spirit represents the essence of things and the intangible. As a noun, it's spirit, soul, karma, fate, artificial intelligence, AI. As a verb, it says to exist or to linger. And as an adjective, it's essential, intangible, or ghostly. So in a sense, it's like this represents what's on the inside of you. It says the Spirit card can represent many mystical elements such as fate, energy, ghosts, souls, or mental states. It indicates the intangible, unseen forces that influence life. So I love that. I love how it has basically like the core essence. Spirit is also the core essence of a person or thing. It's the invisible core that that defines the true nature of someone or something. So I love that definition of the Spirit card. So we'll continue on, but we have the incense burner. So again, if you wanted to, you can interpret your own meaning, or you can hit the book and see what it would indicate. I mean, to me, incense burners, I burn incense to basically clear energy, to relax, to meditate. Then you have the bed, all things that you might use a bed for, because again, remember, Lenormand is read quite literally. And you can see there's two people in this bed. So then we have the market. Oh, I love this. Looks like I don't know. It looks like she's asking for a pineapple, but there's all these other things up here. So the market would be like, you know how Spirit, we read the book, it talks about intangible things. This to me almost relates to tangible things or real things, but how you go about getting them. And then we have a blessing card. Oh, it looks like we have two blessing cards. So we have blessing and then blessing. I love this blessing card though. And look, it's 0. So basically you could use this as a starting point. But I love how this blessing card, love, health, wealth, luck. I love that. And it has little money and hearts and things. So I will place a link below to where you can purchase this deck. I would recommend this deck. I mean, if it's not your art style, it's not your art style. But I have to tell you, when it comes to Lenormand's, this one is actually pretty unique, and it's also an amazing tool just because of the way they made the imagery. So I am telling you, if you are someone who is learning Lenormand and needs a little bit of a prompt, like if you were to pull the clouds and you're like, what does a cloud mean? And you kind of see like, look, there's these question marks. So there's something in question. You would know that there's a doubt here. There's something that needs clarity. There's something that needs to be cleared up. You know, if you were to see the whip, you would see that there's something fast going on here. There's debates, there's discussions. I mean, it's just all the things. And again, this fox card, it got me because some of the fox does talk about a very sly, clever person. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, please subscribe. I always appreciate it. Anything you do, like, subscribe, any buttons you hit, comments you make, obviously that helps me continue to do what I am doing. And I will see you in the next reading or the next unboxing. Bye.